Okay. I started my recording, and does anyone want to recap? So for what we covered, right?
Today we have covered the topics regarding salesforce offering and different cloud offerings, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and the future of out-of-box salesforce and different clouds working of cycling, marketing, sales, service, contract service, and about lead, how lead turns to opportunity.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello.
It's already regarding.
Okay. Let me quickly add. So hope everyone able to hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, 19th and 19th. Okay, actually, this notes I'm maintaining to share additional notes to you at the end of the week. So on 19th, on 18th, right? We have like 2 more days that is not covered here. So hope on 18th we covered editions, right? On 18th.
It's about editing.
Editions, licenses, and trailhead. Learning platform offered by Salesforce. Webmaster to enroll certifications. Okay, and on 19th, what we did? Had a recap.
Creation of user,
Sorry, creation of new org.
user.
Yeah. Creation of user. And
Salesforce
licenses.
API ranges.
Licenses.
Licenses we already covered here.
Oh, okay.
About the difference between freezing and deactivation of a user.
Okay.
We get multiple users.
Okay. Anything we're missing?
How to avoid a two-step authentication
Yeah, that is login IP ranges.
Login IP ranges. Okay.
Okay. I think let me know if anything we are missing in between. Okay, today we're going to cover what is a profile, what are different types of profile, and before that, app creation and tabs and objects. Okay, first thing, like, whatever we explain in admin, mostly they are divided into a standard and custom. That will be more common. So first we will understand um, what is a standard, custom. So it's not any feature. So whenever we explain any feature, basically we divided that into a two things, standard and custom. So what is a standard and what is a custom? Standard is something that is already available in Salesforce. Whenever you sign up without doing anything, it's already available. That is a standard, which is already created by Salesforce, and you cannot delete it. Whatever the standard feature or whatever the standard that we're saying in Salesforce, you do not have a access to delete them. I think you can do a renaming them like a labels and all, but you cannot delete them, and you don't have a much control. Actually, I can say frankly, you will not have much control on the standard things. Whatever already Salesforce provides, you will be having the features, and you will not have much access. I am not saying like no access. You will not have much access, or like you cannot do whatever you want to the standard things. Still you can make some changes. It's not completely restricted. Still you can make some changes, which are limited changes you can do. And custom, where you have a full control. Still in custom also there are like some set of things that are used by the Salesforce where we don't have a control, but most of the things you can control in a custom thing, which are created by us, like who are the admins or who are using the org, which are created by us, not by the Salesforce. Those are the custom things. Standard is what Salesforce offers by default, without which is not created by us. So we have very less control. Still we can change some of them as a standard ones. So there is a standard and custom. I will add notes later, so otherwise it will take much time. Any doubts there? Standard and custom. I think it's overall a difference. I say, but we'll move on. First, we'll log on. For login, what you have to use? Login.salesforce.com. So batch1 sftech.com. Great. So if you register a mobile here, then you have two-factor authentication, right? Instead of verification code to email, you can change it to your mobile also. So I don't want to do it now. So I don't want to register my phone. Okay. Now we are in. Now we already in a setup mode. If you see here, there's a setup homepage object manager. So you might have remember. So whatever we do now, everything will go to this wheel and we'll go to setup and start doing it. So you cannot go blindly. So when you go to a setup, this is how the page looks. This name will be a setup, and you have two tabs, home and object manager. If already you are in a setup page, you don't need to go to the setup again. Okay, so when you're in setup, so how you can see the profiles already available. So right, like where we use a profile. When we create a new user, it's required to have a profile. So this profile is based on what licenses you gave to your user. So to create any user, you must need a profile based on your license given to the user. Clear? So profile will be in the user section. In the user, you will have a profiles. Okay. Now we are in the setup profiles page. In this page, if you look at most of the pages, like what are the pages you are in, most of the pages will be look similar to this. So what this called as a list view. So list view means what are all available things that we have in Salesforce. Everything will be listed here in the form of a list or a table. So what we call it is in Salesforce is a list view. In list view, it's a common. So what you see, it's a classic version of it. If it's a classic version, so you see all alphabets here, A to Z, and other and all. So if you do any, if you do any click on any letter, it will get filtered by starting of that letter. You don't see anything else. So if something you feel that you are missing, that you need to make sure that you always selected on all. If you select any letter, it will show only the what are the list we were seeing now. Now we are seeing profiles, right? All profiles starting with the C. If I click on C, you don't see any other letters. You see all starting letters with a C only, no other things. Okay. So you have to make sure that when you're looking for everything, you have to make sure that you selected all. By default, it will be all only. Like if it is some more records, you cannot scroll and search. You can simply filter using these letters. Okay, just observe what we have now. So we have one drop down here, and we have a edit, delete, create new view. This is the thing, but we can have a multiple views. So one way is to filter by using these letters, right? When you click on the letter, it will filter with the starting of the letter. This is the one filter you have. Whatever the list view it is, the view will be same, just it will filter out the records if you use these letters. Then I will come back to this section later, this filter. And then you have this section, how many records you want to see per page. So total we have 38 records. Here we are seeing 1 to 25. That means we are seeing a 25 records per page. If I make it as a 10, then it will be you will see only 10 records per page, like that. So up to you can go to 200 here. Okay, always if when you want to look at more records, you can use this records per page option to set the how many records you want to see in this page. So I don't want to navigate back and forth, so I selected 100. So if you select 10, so how I can go to the next page? So you have a next here, you have a end and start, or like you can directly jump onto the page whichever you want here by giving a page number over here. Page is number of how many pages we have here. This is by um, it's like turning a pages in a book. Just you can go to previous page, next page, or first page or last page, or directly you can go to the page number whichever you want. These are like basic things. So whichever functionality we're going to discuss, if it is going to be a list in standard Salesforce Classic, this is how the page will be. So nothing will be explained again and again. So it will be a common features or common navigations that are available in the Salesforce. Okay, this is for used filters, number of records in pages, and here like you have selected this check boxes, right? So you can see what are all selected. Okay, this one, and this is to previous, next, first, last, and what's the page numbers. Okay, I'm just turning back to single page. Now I have all this profiles. Okay, now there's a new button here, which is a common. You can create a new profile. So we have 38 profiles so far, and even you can create a new profiles as well. This is a refresh a symbol. If you feel like somebody is also working on the same org and they have created some profiles and you feel that you don't see all the profiles, then you can refresh and you can get the all list. When you say refresh, just if somebody is working on like creating new profiles in your org, you're not seeing it, that means it's not refreshed. Just you need to refresh it so that you will also see that profiles. Just a refresh means just it will reload. That's it. If there is any changes before, I mean, when you start and the time after some time if you check, it will just reload the data, what are it's have. And if you see here, there are some actions you see. Edit. Okay, first thing is selecting the profile, then edit, then clone, profile name, and user license, and custom or not. So I said like starting the profiles will be divided into a standard and custom. So how you will identify which profile is a standard one, which profile is a custom one. How we can do is, so if how we can identify for existing profiles by seeing this custom checkbox. If it is checked, that means this is a custom profile. If you might have observed that when you have a custom checkbox, there is one more option to delete. So only custom profiles only you can delete. Standard profiles you cannot delete. Still you can edit, but this edit is not complete. This edit is a partial edit only. Some of the features only you can edit in a standard profiles. Okay, so the observation, if you see all checkbox wherever you see the delete option as well. Okay, and now let's was a custom tab was. Next, user license. This is what the license. So on a user, first you have to select the license, then only you can select the profile. So if you select this analytics cloud integration user, if you select this license, you will get only this two profiles only available to select for profile. So if you feel there are some permissions which you cannot control in this profile, and you want to create a new profile and you want to configure however you want, then what you have to do was you have to clone this profile and you can name it, and then you can make changes. Whatever changes you want to make, you can change in that profile, so that whatever the license you have at least one profile for that license. Okay, so that you have to use that existing profile and you can start a new profile. That means profile you cannot create a blank profile. It has to be cloned or copied from one of the existing profile. That's how you create a profile. It cannot be like you don't want any permissions, you want just one permission. That cannot be possible. Profile, a new profile or new custom all new profiles are nothing but a custom profiles. A new profile has to be cloned from any of the existing profiles. It can be a custom profile or it can be a standard profiles. You can clone standard ones and you can clone the custom ones as well. You have option to clone both the profiles. It's not like you have to clone only standard profiles. No, you have to clone, that's it. It could be a custom or standard. Whatever the new profile created, it will always be a custom. Whatever the user license you see here, the same user license will be applied. So I'm clicking on the new profile. So first step it will ask us which profile you want to clone. So based on your selection, automatically the license will be changed, where you don't have control to select the license. Based on profile, automatically the license will be picked, and whatever the new profile name you want to give here, you can give your new profile name and save. That's how you have to create a profile. Okay, so this is same thing whatever. So the profile view, so when you click on the hyperlink of the profile, this is a view of the profile. This is a standard view. There is a one more view called a enhanced view. That enhanced view will have a more advantage, like searching a specific feature here. You can do that. Okay. Anybody have questions? Sorry.
How do we navigate to the enhanced view?
Yeah, I will show that.
Okay.
So, yeah, here, if we have a standard profile, you don't see any kind of a search option here, right? We cannot search any settings over here. Just we need to sorry, we have to scroll down and see what are all the options available. So there are some features which can be controlled in profile view section, and some of the features which can be controlled in edit mode. So you have to be more careful when you are trying to do or like make some changes to the profile. You cannot go directly to the edit version and try to search for that features. It might not be available. So there will be some features available in edit mode, and there will be more features available in the view mode as well. If you look at all this related, let's see, login IP ranges. If you want to add, directly you can add here. You don't need to go to the edit to the profile. Similarly, so all these access or permissions, you no need to go to the profile and edit. You can directly do it on a view mode. You have to go at the bottom of the page and you can add them here, all the features. Okay, so these are all we are not aware of now. So even I explained, you will not remember. So what we are going to do was, already we had this login IP ranges, right? Similarly, like whenever we have the topic, I will come here and explain you how to make use of this accesses. Some of them it's kind of a self-explanatory, like login IP ranges I already explained. Login hours is, you can even control the when user can log in. Outside the login hours, they cannot log in. It's not two-factor authentication. They even not able to log in. It's kind of an inactive user. Even though they give a right username and right password also, you don't, I mean, you're not able to log in when you have a window for the login hours. Let's say if your office timings is 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if your time is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., then only you will be allowed to log in. If it is outside the, if it is after 9 p.m., if you're trying to log in, you will not be able to log in. That's what the login hours help you to restrict the user from login. So just try to consolidate whenever we are covering. The interview questions will be like that: how you can stop user from logging in to a Salesforce. So what are all we covered so far? We can freeze the user, inactivate or deactivate the user, and the third one is you can set the sorry, you can set the login hours window so that only those days only you can log in. You can see that you have all the 7 days, Sunday to Saturday, and if you're not specified, that means you cannot log in on that day. Okay, so let's say on Sunday I don't want any users to log in for that profile. Then Monday, let's start for 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Then outside the login hours, it will not allow you to log in. So you have to observe very keenly. It's saying login hours, not working hours. So you cannot start a fresh session before this time or after this time, but you can continue. So if you are logged in before 9 p.m. and you can continuously work for any number of hours, but you cannot take a fresh session. That means you cannot take a fresh login after your window time. Does it make sense? Okay. Now I'm not setting any login hours for us, so we don't want to restrict ourselves. Okay. Now remaining all of these we'll cover when we're going to cover. Okay. Now, so what we can control in the profiles. So we can control all the administrative access. Administrative means like what things you can do in Salesforce, and object level permissions. We have not covered what is an object. We'll cover object nothing but a tables. If you have any idea about like a database, how we'll store the data in any of the tools. It could be SQL, Oracle, or whatever the database you see in a digital world, we call it as a database. So the database will be treated as your Excel. So if everybody will have a idea about Excel, so how the Excel will be there, you can have a records, like each row will be treated as a record, and the columns will be nothing but the fields, or a columns means a fields in a Salesforce. So a complete table will be treated as an object, and row is treated as a record. Columns are nothing but a fields in your object. So I will explain it more detail later when we're going to objects. So we'll have a multiple objects. Again, there will be a standard and custom. So what are the permissions related to the objects? And once we have an object, how we're going to see a record? So this is also a kind of a record. We have a profile as multiple profiles, right? That means there are also records to a Salesforce. And each profile have all this information. This is nothing but a field. So what we call it as a layout, what we are seeing in the Salesforce, all the fields in a structured format, that is called as a layout. Similar kind of layouts will be available for all the objects. There will be a standard or custom profiles. So what you will be controlled is, one is layout, second one is assignment. This will go deeper here. What's the layout and what's the assignment we do. So we have an option to control the page layouts, and the assignment, we have a multiple page layouts. There is an assignment will be there. What page layout you want to assign to a different users or profiles. Again, field level security. This is when we have field, nothing but a column in your table. Let's say your database, the table have a 10 fields, that means 10 columns. But it's not a guaranteed thing that every user will have access to this 10 columns. You want to give only 5 columns to one set of users, and only 2 columns to some set of users, all columns to some set of users. And you want to like make changes to some columns. You want to make only read, only they can see, not edit any of the columns. The kind of a different levels of permissions you will expect at the field level, that is column level security. Whether you want to make it visible, or you want to make it only read, don't make any changes. These are all like a field level securities. And then service providers, I think we'll cover later. And then tab settings. Tab is nothing but once you open any app, I will explain whatever thing what we see here. Sorry, I think as I'm switching back to profiles. So you might have seen or understand it, but I will go and explain. So what the name you see, so you have to be specific about the names. So you see the name, right? What you see the 9 dots here, this is called a app launcher. Okay, so whenever you're trying to explain, you need to go to a app launcher. We need to say, when if you want to say someone that, you need to click on this icon, you have to say that click on app launcher and do a search. You can do a temporary search here, or like you can just see all things that are available here. You can either search here like this, or you have a search window where you can